Yo guys, what's going on? Acez is here today with another video. This one's going to be an audio-only experience here today, so pull up that stash and get it organized because I know it's getting messy again. Guys, do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, make sure you're subscribing, and make sure you're listening to this following disclaimer. Guys, Acez Games has the right to do whatever the hell they want with your account, regardless if you bought something or not. It's their property, not yours. So if you are caught playing single player or single player mod, they have the right to ban your account, any future accounts, and any other accounts that you might have or make in the future. Basically, just don't play on single player mod if you like Tarkov and the normal Tarkov online experience. It's really that simple. Just because I'm a content creator talking about single player mod doesn't mean I directly support it. I support the idea of it, but as of right now, I don't partake and I never will because I enjoy Escape From Tarkov a lot, especially when a new wipe happens, and I don't want Acez Games to get mad at me, so I can't directly support something they don't, obviously. So, now that you heard the disclaimer, don't fucking play single player, okay? Acez Games doesn't like it, but I'm hoping in the future they might, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today. Guys, we're going to be talking mainly why I think this is the perfect time for Acez Games to consider releasing single player. Now, to me personally, I think if they ever do have the full support for single player, it's either going to be in the full release of the game, or it's going to be some sort of DLC. So there's one of two options there. Wait till the game's finished. Then it's like, okay, you know, the game's been out for 6, 7, 8 years. Let's throw in a single player. Or it's like, hey, you know, we just wrapped up development. There's going to be a couple DLC packs, maybe a couple maps, which EOD owners already get for free. Here's a single player DLC. Either, you know, if you're not an EOD player, which EOD will be taken away eventually. So most people in, you know, 3, 4 years from now would have to buy DLCs, or whatever the case, regardless, if we release a single player DLC, hey, it's going to cost $29.99. Here you go. Do what you want with it. So here's where we're at. I think right now, November 11th, 2022, within the next 50 days, when we get the next patch, according to Nikita, it's supposed to come out before 2023, the first iterations of Streets of Tarkov, I think now is a really, really good time to release single player, and my main reason for it actually has nothing to do with Escape from Tarkov. It actually has to do with DMZ. Call of Duty's new DMZ mode that was supposed to be the next big extraction looter shooter doesn't look that great, but here's the thing. Call of Duty has millions upon millions of players. If DMZ is a free-to-play mode, it's going to be the introductory of extraction looter shooters to a lot of players, and I'm talking a lot. Right now, the only free-to-play looter extraction shooter is The Cycle, and we know how that went. So when it comes to DMZ, yeah, they're going to get into this style, the extracting style gameplay, and they might want more. And if they come to Escape from Tarkov as a Call of Duty player who is potentially a casual player, you might see where I'm going with this. A casual player that plays Call of Duty casually is going to convert to a casual Tarkov player. And in my personal experience, casuals on Tarkov have probably a 50% stick-through rate. I mean, most casuals in Tarkov don't make it. They really don't make it. And when they do make it, it's probably the first month into a wipe, and they don't stick around. They just go play other games because the game gets too hard for them, and that, honestly, makes sense. But if you have a single-player mode that doesn't get sweaty and you can work at your own pace, that's a little bit different. So let's say Acez Games, you know, releases a $29.99 DLC single player only, where literally all they have to do is create a separate launcher to launch the game on a local server for you that saves all your progress, just uses all the online features, but just your loot carries through instead of disappearing. I feel like it could just be a couple of tweaks and a couple of clicks for Acez Games, but for their business and their company, I think it could be absolutely massive for them in growing and getting some assets they might need, might not need, I don't know. But let's just say, you know, there's a million players that come to DMZ. It's going to be way more than that, but easy for simple numbers. Let's say 10% of them want a little bit more of an experience, so they go to Tarkov. Let's say they only want single player. They don't want to get the regular version of the game, which costs $40, I think. They don't want the regular Tarkov experience. They don't want online. They only want single player. Let's say 100,000 people would be interested. Do the math. 100,000 times 30 is $3 million. Not counting their fees, their transaction fees, any other stuff they collect from that transaction. That's 3 mil right there, just by clicking a couple things and putting your game in single player mode. For the players that would prefer that, I would rather have a player playing my game in single player than not playing it at all. That's just how I think of it. Now, I have a little bit of like business background, so maybe I think about things a little bit differently. And I think it's really apparent with what Battlestate Games has done that, in my opinion, they're more of a game development company, game creation company first than a business. I think we've seen that time after time with no skill-based matchmaking being an Escape from Tarkov. Extremely hardcore gameplay that's unforgiving and does not cater to casual players at all. I think that alone pretty much speaks for Escape from Tarkov and Battlestate Games not being business first. But at the end of the day, you still have to survive and still have to put food on the table. And I know there's stuff going on with conflicts in their country, and I don't know all the ins and outs, right? I don't know anything about what happens with their revenue or anything. But at the end of the day, you have a new extraction game coming out that's going to have millions upon millions of new faces introduced to the extraction looter shooter style, potentially revolutionizing it just like Fortnite did with Battle Royale. I've said this time and time again. Escape from Tarkov was ahead of its time with the game mode that it created. And here we are, 5 years later after its creation, I think going on 6 now, and potentially even 7. I don't know the exact release date of, the alpha and the very first versions, where it was only factory, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think Battlestate Games is really missing an opportunity if they don't consider single player or single player mod support. I just can't see in any way, shape, or form this game not having a single player at some point in time. Nothing makes more sense to me personally as somebody who has played this game solo and always had the best experience playing it solo. I've never had a good experience playing with a duo, trio, quad, doesn't matter. I think solo is the best experience for Escape from Tarkov, and if I could play it in single player, legitimately, allowed, I would. I just can't. And it's something that I'm probably always going to be in favor for until it's actually supported, and then I'm going to play a shit ton of it, and it'll probably be my favorite game. It might just be like Skyrim for me. Skyrim is an iconic game that I can play over and over and over and over, and it doesn't matter how many times I restart it, it's still a 10 out of 10 title. Escape from Tarkov feels exactly the same. I just feel like it gets really annoying sometimes now with cheater paranoia, really sweaty players, people just camping in bushes and just wasting time. And that's another thing I want to make an entire video about, the whole wasting time aspect of Escape from Tarkov. But at the end of the day, we're already 8 minutes into this recording, and I think we should start to wrap it up here. Guys, I support the idea of single player, but I do not support single player mod. Once again, as I said at the beginning of the video, that's why I don't play it. I don't support it. The idea of it is extremely tempting, but I'm not even going to risk it. I'm smarter than that. I'm a YouTuber. I have a reputation here when it comes to Escape from Tarkov, and I have to uphold my side of the bargain when it comes to supporting this game and being supported in return from Battlestate Games. So with that being said, I can't support single player mod, but I can support the idea of Battlestate Games supporting a single player in the future. I really, really, really hope that we can get it one day. I'm not sure we will. I know Nikita is pretty strong-headed against it, and usually what Nikita wants is what Nikita gets because it's his fucking game. So, guys, that's where we're going to leave it off. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, sponsored equipment description below. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm kind of getting back into making a little bit of Tarkov content. I don't know, you might see some gameplay from me or something. I'm kind of missing it, bro. I might just make a whole video about how much I miss Tarkov, but that's going to be it. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, sponsored equipment description below. It's going to be it. I'm out.